Are you looking for a low-risk exercise that improves your balance, increases your strength, and reduces your body's imbalances? Well, the single leg deadlift does exactly that. In this video, we're going to show you everything you need to know about the movement and how you can incorporate it into your training today. Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us on another Wednesday edition of the Rodu video series. Today we're talking about the single leg deadlift and how it's going to help you out as a player. Like I said, it's great for balance, strength, and reducing those body imbalances because it is a single leg movement. And if you look at the movement, it's very similar to that starting sprint position, so it's all about explosiveness, building that initial drive, which is huge on the field. First thing I want to talk about is why we don't call it a skater squat. If you look at the movement, the mechanics are much more similar to the deadlift. Here I have a photo showing the bottom position of the deadlift, the single leg deadlift, and the squat. Notice the position of the hip to the knee and how that femur is now above parallel in both the deadlift and the single leg deadlift. The movement is much more hip dominant and you have a much greater lean in the upper body. For these reasons, we refer to it as a deadlift and not the skater squat. Now let's talk about execution of the movement. There are three things you want to focus on while performing it. First, the most important cue is that you're driving that knee back and touching the knee down to the pad. Now we use an ab mat here, any pad will do, something that gives you just about 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the turf. Basically we just want a nice soft landing for our knee. What you want to avoid is a hard crash down onto the pad. You want a nice soft landing. The next item you want to pay attention to is keeping your toe off the turf. If you find your toe touching the turf as you come down, or when you're already in that bottom position, just focus on that and drive that heel closer to your butt. The third thing you want to focus on is knee alignment. In this, and all other movements, you want to avoid that valgus collapse and that knee collapsing in. So if you find yourself doing this, just focus on driving on the outside of your foot. That should bring everything back in alignment as you have that nice strong drive up. If you find you just can't land on that pad safely without crashing down, a simple regression is to add a second or even third pad into the mix so that you can reduce that range of motion and still build that balance, that strength, and reduce your imbalances. If you're feeling pretty strong about the movement and ready to progress, now we can start adding some weight. Here we show you adding some dumbbells into each hand. You can also add a weight vest, or if you're feeling particularly badass, you can go to Home Depot, get some big chains, and try that out. Now what about volume and frequency? I really recommend adding this movement into your training program at least 1 time per week. 3 sets, 5 to 10 reps, make sure you're hitting both legs. And again, this is a great exercise for its benefits, its simplicity, and its low risk to you. I really hope you enjoyed this edition of the Rodu video series and that you go and try this movement out. Leave some comments, let us know what you thought, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.